Good morning once again, everyone. Welcome to Disaster Readiness and Risk Reduction. We are now at our 8th week, and for this week's topic, we have precautionary and safety measures for landslides and sinkholes. So, once again, this PowerPoint presentation is prepared by Sir Jamal Anthony Garcia. So for this week's topic, we will recognize common signs of an impending landslide and sinkhole, and also recommend precautionary and safety measures for landslide and sinkhole. So this is just a continuation topic for our week 7. So basically, week 7, we have explained what causes landslide and sinkholes and also the signs for landslide and sinkholes. Now, for this week, we will discuss the safety measures and precautions when or during we have encounter landslide or sinkhole as well. So let's proceed to our discussion. So if it is possible to dig into the slope with a shovel, spade, or trowel, the slope material is of soil. If the soil is loose and predominantly made of hard rounded stones, the material should be considered as grade A soil and falls under category soft soil. So basically, if the soil is loose and made up of mostly fine grains like sugars with a few stones, then the soil should be considered soft soil. But if the soil is soft but sticky, then the slope material should be considered as clay and considered as soft soil. So um, um, when inspecting a soil, so you have to take note of this. If it is loose and made up of fine grains, so the soil is considered soft soil. And also if the soil is soft but sticky and the material is clay, so also it is considered as soft soil. So there are also unlike many hazards like earthquakes, typhoons, which are regional in scale, landslides are generally localized and site-specific in scale. As much of the responsibility for mitigating and preparing landslides falls on the affected communities. The success with which a community is able to protect itself against the risk of a landslide hazard is largely dependent on the resources and capacities of the community. So basically, for this one, if the community is knowledgeable enough and they have enough resources, and for the in the community, so the community will be able to protect themselves against the risk of a landslide. So we have landslide warning signs. So again, for this one, we have take you have to uh, take note of the signs. So spring seeps or saturated ground in areas that have not typically been wet before. Also new cracks or unusual bulges in the ground, street pavements or sidewalks. Soil moving away from foundations. Ancillary structures such as decks and patios tilting and or moving relative to the main house. Tilting or cracking of concrete floors and foundations. Broken water lines and other underground utilities, leaning telephone poles, trees, retaining walls, or fences. So there could be a possibility of landslide for this. Offset fence lines also, sunken or down road beds, sudden decrease in creek water levels, though rain is still falling or just stopped. Sticking doors and windows and visibly um, open spaces indicating jams and frames out of plumb, and a faint rumbling sound that increases in volume is noticeable as the landslide nears. And also, if you hear some unusual signs such as trees cracking or boulders knocking together, this might indicate also moving debris. So these are the landslide warning signs. So again, um, we have areas prone to landslide. So generally, these are on existing old landslides, also on or at the base of slopes, in or at the base of minor drainage hollows, at the base of
top of an old field slope, at the base or top of a steep cut slope, and also in developed hillsides where leach field septic systems are used. So these are areas prone to landslide hazards, and we also have areas that are typically considered safe from landslides. So basically, these are on hard, non-jointed bedrock that has not moved in the past, and on relatively flat-lying areas away from sudden changes in a slope angle, and at the top or along the nose of ridges set back from the tops of slope. So these are the areas that are typically considered safe from landslides. So if we have encountered a landslide, or basically what you should do before a landslide. So what to do before a landslide? So basically do not build near steep slopes, close to mountain edges, near drainage ways or natural erosion valleys. So we have discuss those areas that are generally prone to landslide hazard. And if you're planning to build an establishment or a house near those landslide areas, areas prone to landslide hazard, so please do not or refrain from doing or planning building something in that. Also, get a ground assessment of your property. It is very important also to contact local officials, state geological surveys, or departments of natural resources and university departments of geology. Landslide occurs where they have before and in identifiable hazard locations. Ask for information on landslides in your area, specific information on areas vulnerable to landslides, and request a professional referral for a very detailed site analysis of your property and corrective measures you can take if necessary. Watch the patterns of stormwater drainage near your home and note the places where runoff water converges, including flow in channels. These are areas to avoid during a storm. Also, learn about the emergency response and evacuation plans for your area. Develop your own emergency plan for your family or business as well. And also, minimize home hazards. Also, you need to have a flexible pipe fittings installed to avoid gas leaks or water leaks, as flexible fittings are more resistant to breakage. And also plant ground cover on slopes and build retaining walls. And if you are in a mud flow area, build channels or deflection walls to direct the flow around buildings. Remember, if you build walls to divert debris flow and the flow lands on a neighbor's property, you might be liable for damages as well. So these are the what's to do before a landslide. So now we have known the basic essentials that we must do before a landslide occur. Now we will discuss what to do during a landslide. So basically for this one, stay alert and awake. Many debris flow fatalities occur when people are sleeping. Listen to a NOOA or a National uh, Weather or weather radio or portable battery powered radio or television for warnings or intense rainfall. Also be aware that intense, short bursts of rain may be particularly dangerous, especially after longer periods of heavy rainfall and damp weather. Also, if you are in areas susceptible to landslides and debris flows, consider leaving if it is safe to do so. Remember that driving during an intense storm can be hazardous as well. If you remain at home, move to a second story if possible, and stay out of the path of the landslide or debris flow to save lives. Also, you have to listen for any unusual sounds that might indicate moving debris, such as trees, crackings, or boulders knocking together. Once again, a trigger or flowing or falling mud or debris may precede larger landslides. Moving debris can flow quickly and sometimes without warning. If you are near a stream or channel, be alert of any sudden increase or decrease in water flow and for a change from a clear to muddy water. Such changes may indicate landslide activity upstream, so be prepared to move quickly. Don't delay, save yourself, not your belongings. Also save your family if you have loved ones as well. Be especially alert when driving, so bridges may be washed out and culverts overtop. Do not cross flooding streams. Turn around, don't drown. Embankments along roadsides are particularly susceptible to landslide. So watch the road for collapsed pavement, mud, fallen rocks, and other indications of possible debris flow as well. Also be aware that strong shaking from earthquakes can induce or intensify the effects of landslides as well. So now these are the to dos if or during landslides. So basically, what to do if you suspect imminent landslide danger. So after for this one, it's not in the PowerPoint presentation, but I will also discuss. So basically, contact your local fire, police, or public works department. Local officials are the best person able to assess potential danger. Also, inform affected neighbors. Your neighbors may not be aware of potential hazards. Advising them of a potential threat may help save lives as well. Help neighbors who may need assistance to evacuate. And if you suspect imminent landslide danger, evacuate. Getting out of the path of a landslide or debris flow is your best protection. And curl into a tight ball and protect your head if escape is not really possible. So after the landslide, stay away from the slide area. There may be danger of additional slides usually. And then listen to local radio or television station for the latest emergency information. Also, after the landslide, you must watch out for flooding. It may occur, or also debris flow, because sometimes flood follows landslide and debris flows because they may be started by the same event as well. Also, check for injured and trapped persons near the slide without entering the direct slide area. Direct rescuers, their location. Help a neighbor who may require special assistance, infants, elderly people, and people with disabilities. Elderly people and people with disabilities may require additional assistance. People who care for them and who have large families may need additional assistance in emergency situations. Look for and report broken utility lines, damaged roadways, and railways to appropriate authorities as well. Reporting potential hazards will get the utilities turned off as quickly as possible, preventing further hazard and injury. And also you must check the building foundation, chimney, and surrounding land for damage. Damage to foundations, chimneys, or surrounding land may help you assess the safety of your area if you need to evacuate as well. And replant damaged ground as soon as possible, since erosion caused by loss of ground cover can lead to flash flooding and additional landslides in the near future. And last is to seek advice from a geotechnical expert for evacuating landslide hazards or designing corrective techniques to reduce landslide risks. So usually this professional will be able to advise you of the best ways to prevent or reduce landslide risk without creating further more hazards. So these are the um, so we have discussed the areas that are prone to landslide hazard, areas that are typically considered safe from landslides, also what to do before a landslide, what to do during a landslide, what to do after the landslide, and also what to do if you suspect imminent landslide danger. So take note of this because it could save your life and the life of others as well. So we have discussed landslide. Now let's go to sinkholes. So again, we have discussed this already. So for this one, a sinkhole is a naturally occurring geological hazard. Again, we have discussed this in our week 7, but we will just do a recap again. So it can cause extensive damage to roads and structures, resulting in costly repairs. It can also compromise water supplies by draining unfiltered water from wetlands, lakes, and streams directly to the underground water supply.
Sinkholes mostly appear in areas where the surface rock is limestone, which easily erodes due to water movement. Erosion rates are highest in high rainfall areas. So basically about 20% of the surface land in the United States is accessible to sinkholes, with the most damage occurring in Kentucky, Florida, Alabama, Texas, Missouri, Pennsylvania, and Tennessee. So again, we have discussed this sinkhole in week 7, and we have shown some videos why sinkholes occur and what causes sinkholes as well. So basically, we have here the sinkhole triggers. So for this one, sometimes a sinkhole may seem to have appeared overnight. However, many of them evolve over hundreds or thousands, even thousands of years. They develop long before any surface evidence is visible. Essentially, sinkholes are what people see on the ground surface due to a hole in the rock below. However, several things can trigger a sinkhole as well. So we have sinkhole prone areas also. For this one, they mostly occur in karst terrain. And this is a landscape formed from the breakup of soluble rocks, including limestone, gypsum, and dolomite. They form when a fracture in the subsurface rock enlarge, which can increase the risk of groundwater contamination as well. And basically, this is how to spot a sinkhole, and this is a warning sign on how to spot a sinkhole. So it can signify that there is a signal include structural cracks in floors and walls, windows and doors, and that do not close properly, and cloudy or muddy well water. Signs of a sinkhole on a property include exposure of previously business items such as fence posts and foundations, vegetation that wilts and dies as the sinkhole throws away essential water as well, and a circular pattern of ground cracks. Other signs include the formation of small ponds after heavy rainfall, falling or slumping fence, poles, or trees, and interrupted electrical service or plumbing due to damaged utility lines and gullies that form as soil is carried towards the sinkhole. So these are the warning signs on for you to spot a sinkhole. So I will show you another video regarding about a landslide and sinkholes.
Hindi na bago sa ating bansa ang bagyo, pagputok ng bulkan, paglindol, sunog at kung ano-ano pang kalamidad. Ito ay hindi natin maiiwasan, pero maaari natin itong paghandaan. Bilang kasagutan, ating binuo ang Project DINA o Disaster Information for Nationwide Awareness. Sa tulong ng iba't ibang ahensya ng pamahalaan, layunin nito na magbigay ng sapat na kaalaman tungkol dito at kung ano ang dapat gawin para mapaghandaan ang mga kalamidad. Halina at magkaisa. Tandaan, kung bawat isa ay laging handa, tiyak ang kaligtasan ng ating pamilya at ng ating komunidad. Handa na ba kayo?
Ang landslide o pag-uho ng lupa ay maaari maganap anumang oras dahil sa pag-ulan at paglindol. Karaniwan itong nangyayari sa mga matataas at matatarik na lugar, lalo na kung ito'y mayroong malambot na lupa. Ito man ay mabilis na kaganapan at kadalas ay walang babala. May mga palatandaan naman sa ating kapaligiran na maaari nating obserbahan. Ilan sa mga senyales ng landslide ay pagkakaroon ng mga bitak sa lupa, pagtabingi ng mga puno, poste at bakod, biglaang pagbukal ng tubig sa lupa, pagkabutas ng mga linya ng tubig, pagkukulay putik ng ilog at mga bitak sa dingding, window frame, sahig at kalsada. At kapag nakarinig ng mga dagundong na maaaring tumutukoy sa pagkaputol ng mga puno at nag-uumpog ang mga bato, hudyat na ito ng pagguho ng lupa. Upang maibsan ang mga panganib na hatid ng landslide,
Huwag magtayo ng bahay o anumang struktura sa mga lugar na matatarik, malapit sa paanan ng bundok, at malalambot na lupa at sa lugar na may mga history ng pagguho kagaya ng debris flow, debris avalanche, slump, mud flow, rockfall at iba pa. Alamin ang emergency at evacuation plan sa inyong lugar at siguraduhin pag-usapan ito kasama ang pamilya. Sa oras ng malakas na pag-ulan o bagyo, maging alerto upang maobserbahan ang inyong kapaligiran sa mga senyales ng landslide. Lumikas kung kinakailangan at gawin ito sa madaling panahon, dala-dala ang inyong emergency survival kit. Habang nagkakaroon ng pagguho ng lupa at ikay nasa loob ng gusali at hindi makalikas, manatili na lamang sa loob at magtago sa ilalim ng mesa o sa matitibay na parte ng kabahayan. Kung ikaw naman ay nasa labas, iwasan ang maring daanan ng landslide at magtungo sa ligtas na lugar. Kung malapit sa estero o ilog, maging alerto sa posibilidad ng biglaang pagtaas ng tubig. Ang biglang pagbaba mula sa normal na level ng tubig ay maaaring senyales ng pagbara sa may taas na bahagi ng ilog dahil sa landslide at posibleng pagkakaroon ng flash flood o debris flow. Kung ikaw naman ay nagmamaneho, maging mapamatsyag sa mga bumabagsak na semento, rumaragasang putik at mga nalalaglag na bato. At huwag tumawid sa mga tulay. Lumayo sa lugar ng pagguho hanggat sabihin ng mga lokal na opisyal na ligtas nang bumalik. Pagbalik ng tahanan, suriin ang pundasyon ng inyong bahay, linya ng tubig, mga poste ng kuryente, at ang inyong kapaligiran para sa anumang pagkasirang maaring naganap at ipaalam ito sa kinaukulan kung kinakailangan. Ipagbigay alam din sa mga kinaukulan kung may mga nasaktan at nawawalang tao. Subaybayan ang mga latest advisory mula sa telebisyon, radyo, social networking sites, at lokal na opisyal ng pamahalaan.
Ang pagbaba ng mga bato, lupa at putik mula sa mataas na lugar ay sanhi ng gravity o ang hila ng natural na magneto ng daigdig. Maaari din itong rain-induced o yung dulot ng malakas na pagulan o kaya naman ay dahil sa mahina hanggang sa katamtamang pagulan na tumatagal ng hanggang 5 araw o higit pa. Ang landslide ay mapaminsala sa ating kabuhayan at ari-arian kung kaya't ito'y nararapat lamang na pinaghahandaan.
So, this is a video from NDRRMC here in the Philippines. So, if you need the link, I will just post the link also. So, for this week lesson, we have discussed sinkholes and landslide as well. So, basically, precautionary safety measures for landslide and sinkhole, recognize common signs of an impending landslide and sinkhole, and also recommend precautionary safety measures for landslide and sinkhole also. So let's finish this video.
Ibayan ang sarili, wag matakot. Delubyo't sakuna, walang hindi kaya. Basta't lahat tayo ay sama-sama. Habang may panahon, maganda ngayon tayo'y aahon. Maging ligtas, maging panatag, Pilipinas. Maging ligtas, maging panatag.
Thank you for this video, and the RRMC. For week 8 activity, we have two activities, activity 1 and activity 2 in your handouts and in your modules, PDF files as well. So there are instructions on how to um, answer activity 1 and activity 2. So just if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask us. You may directly send a message through Facebook Messenger, or also directly ask us at school as well. So thank you once again, everyone, and God bless.